Before we start looking at how to receive the rewards from the NPC, we need to enable the functionality to return our quest to our NPC. If you open up your data with all of your quests, we currently have a couple quests, and also we have enabled the line item or the variable to be able to return this quest back to the NPC. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to enable this in our quest ID 1003 for the purpose of this tutorial. You can enable it to any quest of your choice. And also, we need to define who our quest giver is going to be. The quest needs to know who's going to be handing out this quest. So when we are done with the quest system will then tell you to go and return it back to the same NPC who handed you this quest. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to our quest system, NPC, find our NPC who's a quest giver, open this class up, and we're going to go down to our NPC ID. Our NPC ID is our quest giver ID. I'm going to set up 1001 as the ID for our NPC 001, aka Christina. In your game, you can choose to use this NPC ID as a number, or you can even change it to a text or a string. However you would like to do, the idea is still going to be the same. You just need to define who the NPC ID is. And also in our quest, we need to define who's going to be handing out this quest. So I'm going to add that 1001 in here. So this makes it so that this quest is associated with Christina. All right, so now that we have defined our quest giver and have also enabled the variable for complete the quest on return, now we need to take a look at our quest manager. So let's go back to our content drawer, quest system, blueprints, and quest manager. We're going to open up our function for on objective completed. This is where we control the function when the quest is completed. So we currently add our quest ID that was just completed to our completed quest array, and then we call in this on quest completed function. So logically, if you add a quest to your completed quest array, that means the game is going to think that your quest is completed, and it's going to run the rest of the code by handing out the rewards. So what we need to do is we need to intercept right here and tell the game, hey, I know the player has completed the quest, but let's make sure that the player has to go and chat with the NPC for them to truly complete the quest and gain their reward. It's not going to be an automatic complete like we normally have. So let's go ahead and just select all of these nodes and just move it out just a little bit so we have a little bit of room to work with here. And this line over here, this is going to be our ST quest data structure because we're just dragging that over when we create our on quest completed. So if I double click on this, I can create a new reroute node. And then when I drag off of this, now I can break the ST quest data again. And here, the only thing that we're looking for is that Boolean, complete on return. If this is enabled, then we're going to go ahead and take care of returning the quest to our NPC. If it is not enabled, then we're going to go with our regular process of automatically completing the quest. So let's go ahead and add a branch in here. We want to do this after the player has completed the objective. So we want to connect this off of our true branch here. And off of false, we're going to go and do our complete quest. This is our normal complete quest process. So let me go ahead and put this a little bit lower. And then add in a comment, and then I will say this as auto quest completion. And now off of true here, we just have to notify our widget not to close off the quest and just change it to say, hey, quest completed, but return to this person who handed you the quest. So I want to do two things. First, I want to get the name of our quest giver. And number two, I want to go and put that in our quest UI stating that, hey, quest is completed, take it to the quest giver, whoever gave you the quest. So to get our quest giver's name, first, we're going to add in a new function, and we're going to name this get quest giver's name. And for this, we need the quest ID. Set this to an integer. And now we're going to drag in our active quest, and then we're going to do a find. And then plug in the quest ID. First, we need to go and find the quest. And once the quest is found, so we're going to use this Boolean here. Then we want to drag off of our quest data and then break it. And remember, we enabled our quest giver. So in our data quest, we actually put in 1001 for our quest giver. This is the information that we need. So we're going to get that quest giver data. And now, again, let me refresh your memory. In our initialized quest givers, if you remember, we're getting all of the actors who have the tag quest giver we're getting their blueprint reference, and also we're getting their NPC ID, and we're matching it to our quest givers array. So technically, if I go back to my quest givers here, and if I drag in my quest givers map, and then here, if I do a find node, our key here will be our quest giver's ID, so which is our NPC ID, which is also the quest giver ID. They're all the same ID. So if I were to do this here, and then now off of our true branch, let's go ahead and do another branch, and then connect this find node, make sure that we can find it. If you don't do this branch, and let's say, for example, the quest giver, you accidentally made a mistake with the quest giver's ID number, then this is going to give an error saying that it tried to access the quest giver information, and it couldn't. This is going to be an actor object reference. So this could be either our BP quest giver blueprint, or it could also be our BP NPC base quest giver blueprint. For this tutorial today, we're only going to be working with our NPC base, but it works the same as our quest giver as well. This is just an actor blueprint, and this is a character blueprint with all the animations and stuff. That's the only difference between these two actor of classes. So I'm going to just show you the NPC base here. So once we identify who our quest giver is, we need to go and get their name. And this is where usually you would go ahead and do a cast to NPC and stuff like that. But we don't like casting, so we're going to use an interface function to take care of this. So go to our content drawer, go to your core, interfaces, and then let's open up our BPI quest interface and add in a new function. And we're going to name this get NPC name. Compile and save it. And here we're going to add in an output. And this output would be our NPC name. And this is going to be of type NPC. The reason why we're using output is because we are trying to retrieve an information from another blueprint. If we're trying to send an information, then we will just use an input. That's the difference between the input and output. So now we can go back to our core, quest system, NPC, go to our base NPC, because this is where we keep all of our functions. These two are just child characters, and we don't even have to do anything other than setting up specific variables like their name and their ID. All the functions should be done on the base class. So we're going to open up our base class here, go to our class settings, and under implemented interfaces, make sure BPI quest is added as one of the implemented interface. And if it is, then under interfaces, you should have the function for get NPC name. Double click on this. And all we have to do here is just drag the name and then plug it in here. This interface function is super simple because here we're identifying who our quest giver is because we already previously defined it in our data table as 1001. Here we're going to go through all of our quest givers and find out which one of our quest giver has that 1001 NPC ID. And then we're going to use that quest giver to get the NPC name. And you should get a message node right here. Plug it in here, just like this. Compile and save. And this NPC node, we're going to go ahead and do a return. We're going to return the name because this is a function that is used to just get the quest giver's name. So that's why we're returning this NPC name. And if the active quest doesn't exist, then we want to return this function with a name set to basically empty. And same thing here. If the quest giver ID is not properly defined, then we want to go ahead and return with nothing. So if you ever complete a quest and it says quest completed, return to, and it just says none, or if it just stays empty, that means something failed here. Either your quest giver is not properly defined, or that quest ID is not in your active quest array. So now we can go back to our on objective completed. Off of true node, we're going to get our quest giver's name, and then we can connect this to true. And then the quest ID would be this quest ID right here. So we can just go ahead and copy and paste this, and we can plug it in here just like this. Now we have our NPC name. The next thing that we're going to do is to notify our UI to update the message for the player saying, hey, quest is completed, but you need to return over to your NPC who gave you the quest. And we're going to do this communication using our interface. So we're going to go back to our BPI quest interface, add in a new function, and we're going to name this function notify on completed return to quest giver. So that'll be our RTQG. If I type this out, it will be too long. So I'm just going to make this simple and just put in like an acronym, return to quest giver. And this is going to require an input, which is going to be our quest ID. We're going to use this quest ID to find our proper UI. And also we're going to get our quest giver's name. And this is going to be of type name. Compile and save this. Now let's go to our content drawer, quest system, UI, and we're going to open up our quest info. Now there's multiple different places that you can actually do this. I'm going to do it in quest info. So I'm going to change this name, and it's going to say quest name, and it's going to say dash return to Christina, right? Or the name of the quest giver at this point. I'm going to hide the reject button and then rename the accept button to claim. So when the player goes to the UI, when the player goes to the NPC and when they open up their UI, it's going to say claim. And when they hit it, then we're going to go ahead and complete the quest there. So that's kind of like the process flow that I have planned. So currently our process flow for the quest info is when the quest info gets constructed, or when we call in to create this widget, it's going to go ahead and set the quest name from our quest info data. And then it's going to check to see if it is completed. If it is completed, then we're going to set our text to quest name dash completed. If it is not completed, then we're going to go for each and every single objective that's within our quest. We're creating a objective info widget, and we're adding it to our container here. Once we create all of our objectives, then we're checking to see if we should show the rewards or don't show the rewards. If do not show rewards is true, then we're not doing anything. We're just going to stop right there. The function ends and we're done. But if the do not show rewards is set to false, that means we want to show the rewards, then we go through all of our rewards that's in our quest info, and we create a reward widget and we're adding it. So essentially, when a widget is created with the quest info, we want to first do the check to see if the quest needs to be completed automatically or does it need to go back to the NPC. And we already have that information in our quest info. So if I just go ahead and just copy and paste this instead of having to drag the line backwards, I can go ahead and hide all the unconnected pins except for our complete on return. So here we're going to do a branch and then connect this off of event construct and then plug in our completed. And first thing is we can do the false channel, which is pretty simple. If the quest is not set to complete on return, then we're going to go with our normal channel. Nothing's changing. However, if our complete on return is set to true, then we want to do something here. But for us to do something here, we want to first go ahead and enable our interface function, which lets this widget know that the quest is completed and waiting for the NPC. So if we go to our interfaces, we actually have our notify on completed RTGQ function. So let's go ahead and double click on it to implement this. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to drag in our quest info, and we're going to check to make sure that this quest ID and this quest ID that is being sent through is the same. We're going to do an equal check and then validate to make sure this is the same. If you have 10 quests available in the game, that means each quest is going to have its own variation of the quest info. And the only thing that keeps this unique is the quest ID. So that's why we're checking to make sure that we are communicating with the proper UI line item, and we're not talking to all the UI line items. Once we have validated that the quest ID matches our quest ID that we sent through here, then we're going to need to enable a Boolean in this widget to notify this specific widget that, hey, the quest is completed, we're waiting for NPC. So let's go ahead and enable a Boolean or create a new Boolean, and we'll name this quest is ready to return. And we're going to enable this by adding it to the true channel. And followed by this, we want to drag in our quest name, and we want to set text. And this set text, we're going to format this text, and it's going to say our quest name. So I'm going to have a parentheses and then put in quest name, close to parentheses, and then followed by a dash, and it's going to say return to, and then we're going to have our quest giver's name, or we can actually name this NPC name, and then add it to our parentheses. So this will give you your quest name and also the NPC name as two inputs. Quest name, pretty straightforward, comes from our quest name here, and the NPC name, it's going to come from our event here. Plug it in here just like this. So now that we have set up our Boolean to notify this specific widget that this quest is completed, we're just waiting for the player to return to the NPC. We can go ahead and do our true channel. Off of our true channel, we're going to check to see if this quest is ready to run, then do a branch here. If the quest is ready to return, then we want to now go ahead and set our quest name text to this text right here, quest name return to NPC. Because we already have it set up over here, I'm just going to borrow this code. And my way of borrowing this function is just by setting up a custom event that I can call in. And this is going to be our set return to quest giver text, so RTQG text, and then plug it in here just like this. So every time this custom event runs, it's going to go ahead and set the quest name to this specific quest name that we just set up, saying that return to your NPC. So off of true, we want to go ahead and call in our set RTQG text. And after this, we want to go straight to our objective creation. So our quest still looks exactly the same, only the name changes, right? So here is where we're setting up the different text just before this completed branch. So that's why I want to go ahead and plug this after all the branches for setting up the text is set up here. And then off of false, we're just going to run our normal channel, like I previously mentioned. And now we're ready to go ahead and implement our interface function in our quest manager. So we're going to go to our BPC quest manager, and we're going to get all widgets with interface, and that would be our BPI quest interface. Off of this widget, we want to now go ahead and do a notify on complete RTGQ. But if you don't get it as a message, you know the trick, get the player character. Off of the player character, we're going to go ahead and do the notify on completed RTGQ, delete the player character, connect the execution pin, the array into the target here. Quest ID would be this quest ID, so I can just go ahead and drag this over. And for the quest giver's name will be our NPC name, just like this. Compile and save it. One more thing that I want to fix is if you pull out your weapon while you're within the vicinity of the NPC and try to fire at the zombie, nothing's going to happen. However, if you run much more closer to the zombie and if you start firing at them, your bullet seems to be working. That's because of this collision wave trigger that we have put in. So if you open up your content over to your NPC folder, go to your NPC base, and if you select your wave trigger, which is this trigger, head over down to your collisions. You can see that your collision preset is set to overlap all dynamic, and your object type might be at world dynamic. Now, our bullets in the game is set up to stop and interact with world dynamic. That's why when the bullet are hitting this wave trigger, it just doesn't go through it. To fix this, pretty straightforward. Set your collision preset to custom, and then the object type to something that your bullet doesn't recognize. At this time, your bullet recognizes world static, world dynamic, pawn, and physics body, but it doesn't recognize vehicle or destructible. So we're going to set this to a vehicle. It shouldn't make any other difference. And now if I go ahead and pull out my weapon and start shooting at the zombie, you should notice that we should be able to kill the zombie with no issues. So now if I go ahead, talk to Christina and do accept on their quest, and if I pull out my weapon, let me also pull out the UI screen so you can see it. If I go ahead and kill zombie number 1 and number 2 and also number 3, you should see zombie trouble, return to Christina, the progress is completed, and also our tracker is showing zombie trouble, return to Christina. Obviously the text is way too long, so it kicks outside of the screen, but the entire functionality of returning to the vendor is working. So let's go ahead and keep building on this. So now that we have established that the function is working, I want to improve the visuals just so that you have different options. If your quest name and your NPC name is small, you can always use something like, set font, and then use this node. You can drag off of this infont info and you can do a make slate. And then here you can set the size of it manually to like 15 or something and set the font family to Roboto. I think this is what we're using. And if you go ahead and now press play, pick up the quest. And now when you kill 3 zombies, it should say something like this. The size should reduce on its own. And this is much more clear to read on both levels. But I want to do something extra. So in our designer, I'm going to go ahead and add in a separate line item just to say return to the vendor or return to the NPC. Again, very optional. All of these are optionals for you. You can choose whichever you like the best. So first I'm going to drag in a size box and drop it onto our vertical box. This is what's holding all of our different elements in our quest name here. And I'm going to move this size box just after the quest name above the objectives container. Inside of this size box, I'm going to add in a text. And this is where I'm going to say return to NPC. So I want to reduce this size to like something like 18. And I want to set this color to red or yellow, whichever you prefer. Doesn't matter. I'm going to name this as return to quest giver underscore text. Set this as a variable. Compile and save it. And we no longer need to do this font thing. We can just go ahead and get our RTQG text and then do a set text. Here we're going to drag off of the in text and do a format text. And this would be return to, and then parentheses, NPC name. Now we can just take this NPC name and plug it in here. And off to our previous format quest, we can just leave it with just the quest name. And just after this, I want to drag off of this RTQG text and do a set visibility and set the function, and then set this to visible. And we want to hide it when the game starts. So I'm going to select this RTQG text variable and also the set visibility, copy, go all the way to the top where we have our pre-construct. I'm going to just pull this back a little and set the visibility here to collapsed. Plug this in here and set this to collapse just like this. So compile. Now if I go ahead and press play, talk to Christina, grab a quest, everything looks normal, accept the quest. And let me open this up as well and then kill 3 zombies, 1, 2, and 3. It should say zombie trouble, return to Christina. So this is another option that you can actually choose.